think it's at home. Oh, it's in my backpack. I didn't. I left at 6:45,
So you got up at 6:10.
and I got here at like 7:07 or something like that. Oh, I need to put. Let's see. Let's do page numbers. It's just going to be a nightmare. Oop. Of a day between everything going on. But I'm also mic'd. I'm also mic'd right now, and I'm mic'd, and these things don't have a mute button, so don't say anything weird, because Brian could be broadcasting it to the whole congregation. I'll do my best not to say anything weird. What is going on with this? Okay. Love you too. I am about to come. What? Stop what? Oh, I'm done. Yes, I thank you for letting me stop. Good morning. Welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. I am Pastor Eric Halseth. I use he, they pronouns, and welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary, as well as all of you who are on Zoom today. Whether you've been attending this church for decades or it's your first time here, I am glad you have joined us. This community is the special place that it is precisely because it is made up of people with many beliefs and genders and identities and origins and sexualities, and all are welcome here. Announcements. Today, very simple list of announcements. There's exactly one item. Yay. The Leadership Development Committee, it's a very important one actually, so it's good, it stands alone. The Leadership Development Committee is looking for someone to fill the position of board treasurer. It is a 2-year term that would start in July after the annual meeting. You don't even have to be an accountant or a bookkeeper, but you do need some basic skills in financial management, the ability to think a little bit strategically about money. The position requires attending monthly board meetings and finance committee meetings, both on Zoom most of the time. And for more information on the position of board treasurer, contact Gary Zinnick about the position for board treasurer. It's awesome. It's an awesome job. We really need a board treasurer. Okay, I'm done. And of course, there are more things that are important for you to know. They are in our weekly newsletter, UUCV This Week. You can find that if you have signed up for the newsletter. So yeah, look there for other stuff. Our land acknowledgement today lifts up the Chumash of Ventura, who have stewarded their ancestral and unceded territory for at least the last 11,000 years. We honor their ancestors, elders, and descendants as they continue their deep spiritual and cultural connections to these lands and waters on which we are holding this service today. Courage is difficult to come by these days. We live in a time when threats approach us from all directions. Some of us face more than others, but all of us face something. Holding space for these challenges is never easy, and finding courage is difficult these days. But this church, this sanctuary, this community, this is a space of courage. This is a sacred space. May it be so.
Good morning. I am Worship Associate Zena Kingshill. If you are joining us from afar on Zoom or YouTube, we invite you to light a chalice or candle at home as CJ and Atlas here help us light the chalice of our free faith here in the sanctuary. Good job. Thank you. May this shared flame connect all of us, whether near or far. Okay, can go back. Our call to worship this morning is titled A Center by Hajin. You must hold your quiet center where you do what only you can do. If others call you a maniac or a fool, just let them wag their tongues. If some praise your perseverance, don't feel too happy about it. Only solitude is a lasting friend. You must hold your distant center. Don't move even if earth and heaven quake. If others think you are insignificant, that's because you haven't held on long enough. As long as you stay put year after year, eventually you will find a world beginning to revolve around you. Come, let us join in worship.
And I invite you all to rise in body or in spirit as you're able. Hi, I'm Zach Spencer, and we will join each other in singing number 298, Wake Now My Senses. Justice thy guide, join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now, my vision of ministry clear, brighten my highway with radiant steer, mingle my calling with all who will share, wing towards a planet transformed by our care.
All of our young folk, or young at heart, to join me for the story. Gather up the donations for Ride Alliance 805 and Poder Popular as you come to the front. All right, so today's story comes from ancient times. Once, A wise king grew troubled, seeing his people grow too comfortable, too reliant on life's little conveniences. To challenge their resilience, he placed a massive boulder in the center of the main road leading into the city. Then, hidden nearby, he waited to see how his people would respond. At dawn, travelers arrived busy with their day's tasks. They were bringing goods into the city. They were trying to take goods out of the city. They were doing all kinds of different things. But seeing the boulder when each would arrive, they were paused and they were unsure what to do. The boulder was so large, it blocked the whole road.
How big was it?
Well, how big is a road?
Big?
Big. Yes, a road is big. The boulder was so big, it blocked the whole road. Nobody could get by.
You have a boulder trapping people in their cars on a freeway.
It'd be like a boulder trapping people in their cars on the freeway. Thank you, Atlas. Yeah, exactly. You said it better than I did. And a few of them, they got upset and they were grumbling and they were muttering, who would put such a thing here? Well, I would guess it fell off of like a cliff or something, but apparently maybe it was like a flat road and the boulder kind of just appeared for them to be saying that. Some really were angry at the king because, of course, they could blame him for the inconvenience because, he was the king. He could get the boulder moved if he really wanted to. Others, they tried to push it kind of, but it was a lot of work. Well, they have to get past it. And they gave up very quickly and walked away and just didn't bother to go about their business. Days passed, and I guess the king was still sitting there hiding, and still the boulder sat unmoved as the people's frustration with the king grew. Most found reasons to complain, but nobody did anything about the boulder. Then, one morning, a lone peasant approached. Seeing the obstacle, she paused, thinking. She tried pushing it like everybody else had, but harder than anyone had before, and it didn't work because the boulder was so big, she couldn't just move the boulder. Yeah, so she stopped. Instead of turning away, though, she looked around for anything that might help. Walking into the woods nearby, she found a sturdy branch, and it must have been a really big branch because it was a really big boulder. Yes, it was a big branch. We'll call it a log. It was big. And she came back to the boulder, and with a determined grip, she wedged it under the boulder, and she pushed down on the log, and then she pushed up on the log, and the boulder started rocking back and forth. Inch by inch, it kept moving.
But how did she get it off the road?
Well, she kept trying. Atlas is asking, well, how'd she get it off the road if it's only moving a little bit? And the way she did is she kept trying, and it started rolling more and more. It was a big round boulder, and eventually it rolled off the road. Like that. We have Atlas, I'll describe it, is mimicking the boulder rolling off of the road. It was very good. When the boulder moved, she looked at the road, and beneath where the boulder had been lay a small purse of gold coins and a note from the king. And the note said, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Within every obstacle lies an opportunity to improve our condition." Not even gold, she also took away a very pithy saying. Let us sing our children out to class through the bridge of love. If you're new, just follow along, and please own your personal space as it makes you comfortable.
Behold you in our love as you go, May your heart spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. Hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. Nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Each Sunday, this congregation gives away our entire offering to organizations doing meaningful work in the wider community or to funds that support people within our own church. This practice of sharing what we have and caring for one another is one of the many ways we keep love at the center of our lives. You can give by texting to give, or if you're here in the sanctuary, you can place cash or a check in the box that's on the back wall during the offertory music or after the service concludes. Our offering today goes to Doctors Without Borders, an organization bringing medical care to people affected by conflict, disasters, epidemics, and social exclusion. War causes injury, displacement, sexual violence, and death, but it also continues to impact people's lives and health long after the front lines have shifted. It devastates health systems, hampers access to medical supplies, and disrupts vaccination and other disease prevention efforts, heightening the risks of outbreaks. More than 100 million people worldwide have been forced from home, uprooted by conflict, persecution, and other hardships. When people are displaced, Doctors Without Borders teams conduct rapid needs assessments and work closely with affected communities to provide services, including vaccination, primary care and mental health counseling, nutrition support, clean water, and sanitation. Nearly 1/4 of Doctors Without Borders projects are dedicated to assisting people living in conflict. In war zones, it does not take sides. It provides medical care based on needs alone and works to reach the people most in need of help. Please give generously and help this organization and its courageous personnel continue to do this important and life-saving work. Thank you. Thank you. The generosity of this congregation helps create a more just and loving world. Today, I share some very sad news. Last Sunday afternoon, Mike Pizzuto passed away peacefully. Rena writes, I appreciate all the love, support, and caring for me during this difficult time. I know that Mike felt the love during the illness. I've been sustained and comforted, and I send my deepest thanks to everyone. In honor and remembrance of Mike, we light a memorial candle from the chalice flame, honoring Mike's lifetime of connection to this church.
In mystery we are born. In mystery we live. And in mystery we die. May we hold Mike and his family in our hearts and in our prayers. Amen.
We take time each week in our service to share with one another both the sorrows and the joys that have come into our lives. We place stones in water as each joy or sorrow is shared to help us remember that we are not alone. Each stone sends out ripples that reflects the ways that a moment which touches one of us touches all of us. In joy and in sorrow, we hold one another in love. I invite you now to share aloud with those gathered here, or to share by writing in the Zoom chat the names of those you wish to celebrate, memorialize, or bring into the loving embrace of this beloved community.
April and John Torres.
Pastor Eric will now place one final stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows just shared and those yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we be grateful for all that sustains us on the journey we share, and for the ways we remain present for one another in times of joy, in times of sorrow, and in all the spaces between.
Please remain seated as we join each other in singing number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness.
May I be filled with loving
Today's reading is adapted from Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Alice was a little startled by seeing the Cheshire Cat sitting on a bough of a tree a few yards off. The cat only grinned when it saw Alice. It looked good-natured, she thought. Still, it had very long claws and a great many teeth. So she felt it ought to be treated with respect. "Cheshire Puss," she began rather timidly, as she did not know at all whether it would like the name. However, it only grinned a little wider. "Come, it's pleased so far," thought Alice, and she went on. "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to walk from here?" "That depends a good deal on where you want to get to," said the cat. "I don't care much where," said Alice. "Then it doesn't matter which way you walk," said the cat. "So long as I get somewhere," Alice added as an explanation. "Oh, you're sure to do that," said the cat, "if you only walk long enough."
I invite you now into a time of meditation with the words we've been using for the last month or so by Cole Arthur Riley. Place your feet upon the floor, close your eyes if you wish, and breathe in and breathe out. Noticing your breath both as it comes in and it goes out. As you inhale, say to yourself, "Gratitude be my guide." As you exhale, say to yourself, "Love be my breath." As you inhale, say to yourself, "I wasn't made to be perfect." As you exhale, say to yourself, "I was made to be loved." As you inhale, say to yourself, "I'm no burden." As you exhale, say to yourself, "I am a gift." Relax in this moment and just breathe.
Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. Oh, I'm ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've survived many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be all right, yes I will once more, just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything new. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
Thank you, Zach. There was a time when I loved to travel. Not so much the plane, flying me places type of travel, but more like driving or riding a motorcycle type of travel. I would go anywhere. And it didn't matter how much time it took, work or school permitting. Drive all night, got that covered, 1,000 miles in a day, sure thing. One of my favorite trips during college was to, on a day with no classes, leave Santa Barbara the night before and drive to Hot Creek, just south of Mammoth, usually arriving by 2 or 3 a.m. I'd grab a few hours sleep in the front of the car underneath a sleeping bag, and I'd rise when the sun came up. Then I'd spend the day fly fishing Hot Creek, and depending on how the bite was going, I would leave whenever it stopped or it didn't start, and I would go somewhere else, usually on the drive home down 395. And then once the sun set, I would drive home. Do I do this type of trip anymore? Certainly not. It is too exhausting. I am much more likely just to go down to the beach 25 minutes from home and do some surf fishing there. But there is still an appeal to getting somewhere or going somewhere. Alice says to the Cheshire Cat, "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to work from here?" "That depends a great deal on where you want to get to," said the cat. "I don't much care where," said Alice. "Then it doesn't matter which way you walk," said the cat. "Well, so long as I get somewhere," Alice added as an explanation. "Oh, you're sure to do that," said the cat, "if you only walk long enough." What Alice is missing isn't a lack of different paths to choose from. It's a lack of direction. And for each of us, when there are choices in our lives, how do we approach the act of choosing? Sometimes we might choose the easier path among all of the choices. Maybe when we're tired, or when we're worried about something. If I go this way, if I do this thing, there's basically no chance something bad will happen, so I will choose this. Sometimes, though, we might choose a path that has the best chance of success. Not the easiest path necessarily, but one where we believe that the path will take us to financial reward, like choosing to go find a new job, or maybe choosing to move somewhere that we think will make us happier. The grass being greener somewhere else in this sort of choice, oftentimes. Hopefully, we are also presented with paths that will, in fact, bring us happiness. Might be the sort of happiness that is really more of an endorphin rush than anything else, and is probably transitory in nature. Or it might be a choice that speaks to our hearts as a true path to happiness. But sometimes we may not be able to easily choose a path at all. And while staying in place, being static, is a choice, it often isn't a realistic option. When shown a multitude of paths, and none is more appealing than another, nor does any stand out as easy, nor a guarantee of success or happiness, what do we do? Choosing one of these unknown paths takes courage. And it's important to note that in this type of choice, courage isn't a certainty of outcome. It's honest discernment of our situation. This type of courage isn't the obnoxiously brave surety of a prince in a mid-20th century Disney movie setting out to rescue a princess from evil. It is more like the bravery of a modern Disney princess who starts out unsure of their path of success, and they grow into the path that is presented in front of them. Mulan joins the army to save her father and grows into a great warrior. Rhea goes from the heartbreak of seeing her father turn to stone to stepping into a leadership role that saves the world, all while learning to let go of her mistrust of others. Discernment of our path takes courage, naming or admitting what we want. Alice knows she is searching for something, or somewhere, during her conversation with the Cheshire Cat. She wants a definitive answer, of course, a correct answer, but courage in this case does not equal a guaranteed outcome. The Cheshire Cat offers a truer path, one that most likely leads to a realistic outcome. Choose your path based on what you value, not on what you think you can control. The courage to grow is sometimes simply telling ourselves a simple truth. To paraphrase Alice, I don't know where I'm going. The cat doesn't shame Alice for that. He just reveals a spiritual principle to her. When you don't know where you're going, any road will work, but it won't necessarily be what you expected. And maybe that brings us to the point. When we drop our expectations, when we take what the world offers moment by moment, we can leave behind barriers to our own happiness. Now, here's another telling of this Cheshire Cat moment, not from Lewis Carroll, but from American McGee's Alice, which was a darker reimagining of Alice in Wonderland in video game form back in 2002 or so. And the cat offers a line that feels simple, almost too simple, and maybe that's why it's important. Every adventure requires a first step. Trite but true, even here. Trite but true, even in Wonderland. Because sometimes the hardest thing is not the whole journey. The hardest thing is the beginning. Not the dramatic beginning of a journey like in a movie, like a cinematic beginning. Just the beginning where you're still tired, where you're still tender, where you're not even sure you want to hope again because hoping has hurt before. And if that's where you are, I want to say it clearly, you are not behind, you're not failing, you are human. The first step doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be brave in the way we usually picture bravery. It can be quiet, it can be shaky, it can be taken with a deep sigh. It can be taken with tears still on your face. Sometimes courage looks like getting out of bed in the morning, answering that text from your boss, keeping the appointment you don't want to keep, asking someone for help, coming to church when you almost didn't. And this is where renewal comes in. Not as pressure, not as a command, but as a gentle possibility. Because renewal often begins when we feel ready. Renewal begins when something in you, however small, however worn down, whispers, try again, just a little. And if you hear that whisper and you can't yet put it into words, you're in good company. Alice tries to explain herself in Wonderland in the book, and what she finally says is this: I can't explain myself. I'm afraid, sir, because I'm not myself, you see. And there's a lot of compassion in that sentence. And I think a lot of us probably know that feeling. I'm not who I was, and I don't fully recognize who I'm becoming. I'm in the in-between. I'm in the journey. And the in-between can feel frightening, not just because it's uncertain, but because it can be lonely. Because it can feel like everyone else got a map and you didn't. They're not wandering around Wonderland. We are. But perhaps this is one of the quiet promises of spiritual community. You don't have to have a finished explanation to belong here. You don't have to be back to normal. You don't have to be fully sorted out. You can simply be in process, whatever that looks like. And then, of course, at the end of Alice's conversation with the Cheshire Cat, the cat gives us a reminder. Gentle words. It's not a guarantee. It's not a tidy answer. It's not a roadmap, but something steadier than that. Oh, you're sure to do that, finding a place, if you only walk long enough. If you only keep moving long enough. Not rush long enough, not perform long enough, not pretend long enough. Move. Just keep moving at the pace your spirit can imagine. Because sometimes it isn't what we suddenly know exactly, it isn't that we suddenly know exactly what to do. Sometimes it is simply that we stayed moving long enough for something to shift inside of us. So maybe this is what courage and renewal look like when we tell this truth to ourselves. Courage is not always confidence. Sometimes courage is internal consent. Consent with ourselves to take the next step, even when we are uncertain. Even while we are grieving, even while we are still healing. And renewal is not always a bright sunrise with a sudden reveal from beyond a distant horizon. Sometimes renewal is a dimmer switch, slowly, almost imperceptibly The light is returning. And so I want to offer you a question, and this is not homework. It's not one of those weeks. It's not pressure. You don't really have to answer it, but you could. It's an invitation, something to put in your pocket for the week and pull out once in a while and think about. As people who practice courage and renewal, what are we willing to name as our where? Even if it's tentative, we're not sure. Not a final destination, just the direction your heart is leaning. And what might be the one first step? Not the whole journey, you don't have to imagine that. Just one step that is gentle enough to be real for you. And if the step you need right now is simply to rest, to breathe, to receive care, let that count. Let that be holy too. Because, as we know from the cat in the video game, every adventure requires a first step. Even here. May it be so, blessed be, and amen.
I invite you all again to rise in body or in spirit as you're able, and take one step in place as we sing this brand new hymn to us, 398, To See the World.
Good try, everybody. That was even hard for me. After the benediction today, there will be coffee, tea, bagels, and conversation in Berg Hall through both sets of doors over on that side of our sanctuary. And we hope that all of you will stay. If you are a visitor today, we invite you to get your refreshments and take them with you to the connecting table. There's a big sign over the table, and there you'll find some people ready to have a friendly chat with you. There's another table nearby where you'll find information about Unitarian Universalism in general and about this congregation in particular. Finally, if you haven't yet done so, you can drop your offering for Doctors Without Borders in the box on the back wall. So now I would please join me in reading the words on the screen as we prepare to extinguish the memorial candle and the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment, those we carry into our lives until we are together again.
And now, beloved seekers, may you be blessed on your journey. May you be gentle with yourself as you find your footing. May you trust that uncertainty is not the opposite of faith. It is often the doorway to it. May you take one small step that is honest and kind and possible. And if what you can do today is simply breathe, simply rest, simply receive love, may that be enough. May courage meet you where you actually are. May renewal come to you not as a demand, but as a gift. And may you know deep in your bones that you do not walk alone. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so.